The words hit him harder than the rain. "You're just a nobody." They were spoken casually, almost carelessly, yet they echoed in the narrow hallway long after she walked away. In that moment, standing there with a soaked jacket, a tired child's backpack slung over his shoulder, and the weight of years pressing down on his spine, he felt exactly like what she had called him: small, invisible, disposable. He didn't know then that those same hands she dismissed would one day be the reason her heart kept beating. If you believe that kindness can change lives, that second chances are real, and that no one is truly a nobody, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Ethan Cole had not planned to become a single father at 29. Life had made that decision for him on a cold winter night when his wife never came home from her late shift at the hospital. A drunk driver, a shattered windshield, a phone call that broke his world into pieces. From that night on, everything Ethan did revolved around survival, his and his daughter Lily's. He worked whatever jobs he could find, stacking shelves at dawn, cleaning offices at night, fixing broken appliances on weekends. Dreams became luxuries he could not afford. Pride was something he swallowed daily. Love, however, was something he gave freely, especially to Lily, whose small hands and sleepy smiles were the only reason he kept standing when exhaustion threatened to pull him under. The building where he worked as a maintenance assistant was tall, glass-covered, and intimidating. It housed people who wore tailored suits, spoke in polished voices, and rarely looked down, especially not at someone like Ethan. He knew his place there. He fixed flickering lights, mopped marble floors, and unclogged drains while conversations about profits and power floated above his head. Most days, he was ignored. Some days, he was treated like furniture. And then there were days like that one, when humiliation came wrapped in sharp words. She was known throughout the building as confident, brilliant, and untouchable. Her success had come fast, her reputation faster. When Ethan accidentally delayed her elevator by a few minutes while fixing a faulty panel, her frustration spilled over. She didn't yell. She didn't curse. She smiled thinly and looked at him like he was a minor inconvenience in an otherwise perfect life. That was when she said it. "You're just a nobody." No anger, no malice, just dismissal. Ethan apologized quietly, because that's what he always did. When she left, heels clicking against the floor, he stood alone, feeling smaller than ever. That night, Lily asked him why he looked sad. Ethan lied and said he was tired. He always lied about that. He couldn't tell his 6-year-old that the world sometimes crushed people without even noticing. Instead, he made her favorite soup, helped her with homework, and tucked her into bed with a story about heroes who didn't wear capes. Long after she fell asleep, he sat by the window, staring at the city lights, wondering how long a man could live feeling invisible before he disappeared completely. Life moved on, as it always did. Days blurred together. Ethan worked. Lily grew. Bills piled up. And somewhere in the background of his routine, the woman from the elevator remained just another face he avoided when possible. He bore her no hatred. He simply accepted that some people walked through life never needing to look down. Then came the day everything changed. It was late evening, and a storm had swallowed the city whole. Rain hammered the streets, turning sidewalks into rivers. The building was nearly empty when the power flickered. Ethan was in the lower levels, checking emergency systems, when the alarms began to scream. A fire had broken out in one of the upper floors, triggered by an electrical fault. Smoke started to fill the stairwells. Panic spread faster than flames. Ethan didn't think. He acted. He had been trained for emergencies, but more than that, he had instinct, honed by years of protecting a child, by living in constant alertness. He ran toward the chaos while others ran away. As he moved through smoke-filled corridors, helping confused employees find exits, he heard coughing from a corner office. The door was closed. Inside, someone was trapped. He forced the door open, his lungs burning. There she was, the same woman who had mocked him, collapsed on the floor, struggling to breathe. Her confidence was gone, her composure shattered. She looked terrified, human, fragile. For a split second, Ethan saw the irony of it all. Then he saw only a life in danger. He lifted her without hesitation. The smoke was thick, the heat unbearable. Every step down the stairs felt like a battle against his own body, but he kept going. He thought of Lily. He thought of promises made silently to never turn away from someone in need. By the time they reached fresh air, Ethan's vision blurred. Sirens wailed. Rain mixed with ash. And then everything went dark. He woke up in a hospital bed, his chest aching, his head pounding. Lily was asleep in a chair beside him, her small fingers wrapped around his. A doctor told him he'd suffered smoke inhalation and mild burns, but he'd be okay. The woman he'd saved had survived too. She'd asked about him, the doctor said, repeatedly. Ethan didn't see her that day. Or the next. He was discharged quietly, as he lived. He returned to work after a few days because missing shifts wasn't an option. Life had to go on. But something had shifted, though he couldn't yet name it. A week later, an unexpected meeting was called. Employees gathered, murmuring. Ethan stood at the back, as usual. When she stepped onto the stage, the room fell silent. She looked different, softer. Her voice trembled as she spoke about the fire, about fear, about the man who had saved her life. She didn't say his name at first. She said she had learned something in those moments, how easily power and pride blind us to humanity. Then she called him forward. Ethan froze. He didn't want attention. He never had. But the room turned, eyes searching, until someone gently nudged him. He walked forward, heart racing. She looked at him then, really looked at him, and her eyes filled with tears. She apologized, not the polished kind meant for appearances, but raw, broken, sincere. She said she had been wrong. She said he was not a nobody. She said he was the reason she was alive. The applause was thunderous, but Ethan barely heard it. What he felt was something unfamiliar, a sense of being seen. In the weeks that followed, changes came slowly but surely. Ethan was offered a better position, one that recognized his skills and dedication. It wasn't charity, it was respect. Lily noticed the difference first. Her father smiled more. He came home less exhausted. He laughed. The world hadn't magically become fair, but it had softened around the edges. As for her, she changed too. Not overnight, not perfectly, but genuinely. She listened more. She looked people in the eye. She used her influence to create opportunities for those who had been overlooked, because she now knew how close she had come to losing everything without ever knowing the name of the man who saved her. Ethan never brought up the insult again. He didn't need to. He had learned something deeper, that worth isn't granted by others, and that even the quietest lives can hold extraordinary courage. If this story is touching your heart so far, if you've ever felt unseen or underestimated, please take a moment to engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let us know in the comments if you believe that real heroes walk among us every day. Years later, on an ordinary morning, Ethan walked Lily to school. She skipped beside him, talking about her dreams of becoming a doctor, of helping people. Ethan listened, pride swelling in his chest. He realized then that the moment he had been called a nobody had not broken him, it had prepared him. It had stripped away any need for validation, leaving only the quiet strength that would one day save a life. Before this story ends, we have one special request. Please comment the words, "Kindness matters," if you believe that compassion can change destinies. Because somewhere out there, someone feels invisible today. And your engagement might help this story reach them, reminding them that even a so-called nobody can become someone's miracle.